You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are ladies things that makes official. Welcome to 16 years and 2,500 episodes of the Chris Voss Show. And boy, we just keep going along here with everything that we do. Be sure to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Tell them to go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss, Facebook.com, and all those great places on the internet. Today we have an amazing man on the show. Taylor Scott joins us. He's the author of 2 books that we are going to be talking about today. His latest is called Give Hospitality, a hopeful story of what happens when we live, work, and love from the same place of generosity. That sounds like a nice place to be, especially in today's world that's going on right now. Taylor graduated with honors from Florida Southern College in Florida, earning a BS in Business Administration. He earned a, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit more here. He earned a Master's of Management in Hospitality from Cornell University. He's worked for notable brands such as Disney Parks and Resorts, the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Wynn and Encore Las Vegas, Gaylord Hotels and Resorts, Starwood Hotels and Resorts, and Disney Vacation Club. Welcome to the show, Taylor. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Give us a .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Leadwithhospitality.com. Simple as that.
There you go. And give us a 30,000 overview about what's inside this new book.
Yeah, the new book is a leadership fable this time. And it's about a young up-and-coming leader in our industry who has left a toxic job with a toxic boss. Raise your hand if you've seen that movie. And she goes to work at a more magical place that I created in my brain and in my heart called Calvella Resorts. Calvella means summertime in Hawaiian, and our main name is Summer Grace. So there's a little bit of symbolism there, but the story is about her first 2 weeks on the job when she goes through the Calvella Resorts orientation experiences that they call hospitality conversations. And so it's just a story about how they have created such a positive and productive and inclusive workplace culture. And I'm doing this one on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose, because I'm donating proceeds from the book as well as any keynotes and leadership development programming or workshops that come from this project. I'm donating to the Hawaii Community Foundation's Maui Strong Fund to help with the rebuilding efforts of Lahaina Harbor on Maui after the wildfires in August of 2023.
Yeah, that was such a devastating fire, which is it's astounding. Just got lives changed in a second. What prompted you to want to write this book? Now, I know you have another book. If you want to plug us on the title on that, are these two released hand in hand or in tandem? How does that work?
Well, no, our last book was Lead with Hospitality, and that one came out in April of 2021. Okay. And it's from that book that we've created all of our leadership development content, as well as our hospitality experiences, our customer service, our guest services training content, and a lot of the work that I do as a keynote speaker and a leadership development partner with organizations in and around the hospitality industry. So the differences are Lead with Hospitality was 4 years ago, and the Give Hospitality is a leadership fable this time around. So I wanted to do a fable because I've grown in my leadership career, reading books from the great John Gordon, who wrote The Energy Bus, and guys like Patrick Lencioni, who write these leadership fables that we can all relate to. So that's what we're doing.
There you go. Sometimes telling stories is the best way to teach lessons, right? I mean, that's kind of, we talk about that on the show where, stories are kind of the owner's manuals to life. It's how we kind of figure things out and and come up with an instruction manual, because I didn't get mine in the mail. I don't know if you got yours in the mail, the instruction manual for life, but
No, I'm still waiting. Yeah.
I'm still waiting on mine. I sit by the mailbox every day, going, how do I do this? But I mean, that's the great thing about stories, fables, novels, even, where you can learn in real life stories. There's so many lessons you can draw from them. Now, it sounds like you have quite the career working with resorts, customer service, and things of that nature. Tell us about some of your upbringing and what got you down these roads and influenced you leading up to the books.
Yeah, I grew up in Eastern Kentucky, so I'm an old basketball guy from Kentucky, and growing up on the East Coast and the South, we like most people, when it came time to go on vacation, we'd go down to Walt Disney World, and our family became like a Disney family early on. And I used to just love it. I used to just love going to the parks. And one of my favorite things, though, was like just hanging out at the resorts and the hotels. And so I always kind of knew I wanted to go in that direction when I got older. And so when it came time to go to college, I was looking for places where I could walk on the basketball team, a small school with a good business program. And I found it at Florida Southern College in Lakeland, Florida. And I went down there for my undergrad, and I majored in business administration, concentrated in hotel resort management. Every summer in college, I did the Walt Disney World College program.
Oh, wow.
It's an internship program, and they have 3 components: living, earning, and learning. And so you're there, imagine it, you're there with thousands of other college students, and you have a role in the show somewhere within the 48 square miles of Walt Disney World, and you live in apartment complexes with other college students that are down there on.
Oh, really?
So it was amazing. My buddies and I, all of the groomsmen in my wedding were my friends from at some point in the Walt Disney World College program. We're still very tight today. So yeah, I just loved all facets of it, and so that's what I did. I worked in food and beverage, attractions, in the resorts and resort operations. And then when I graduated, I did resort operations and then sales and marketing, and then left and did the graduate program up at Cornell University's hotel school. And from there, I landed here where I still live today in Las Vegas. Wynn and Encore, as well as the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. I was the director of marketing at both of those places. And I went back to Disney, but on the other coast. Had to get it out. I went to Disneyland, and I led the sales team at Disney Vacation Club, Disney's version of timeshare. And then it was all of those experiences. Really, my favorite part about each of those career stops were times when I would be sent to, or I would get to go to, a leadership development workshop. And I would just love it. I would go into those things and I would come out so uplifted and encouraged and inspired. And finally, I was just like, I wonder how I could do that for a living. So I started blogging and writing and playing around with maybe doing some speaking opportunities, and found out I loved it. I was pretty decent at it. And then I switched gears and started writing these books and creating these leadership programs myself.
And so who is the book targeted to? Give Hospitality. Who is this targeted to? Leaders, CEOs, the C class? Is this targeted to everybody all the way up the food chain, as per se?
Yeah, I would say there's two primary groups. There's one that is the up and coming leader. So the up and coming leader in not only hospitality, but in any industry, really. I just leverage and use hospitality as some illustrations and examples of how this stuff has and continues to show up. So it's the up and coming leader, but it's also these people that may be leaders of up and coming leaders that they say, hey, I would love to have, as a director or vice president, or even in a C-suite, I would love to have my culture, my leadership culture, be one that is rooted in the spirit of hospitality. So those are the two main audiences there.
There you go. Is the target to help employees feel better about, you talk about burnout and turnover in the book, or is it more towards like customer service, would you say? Kind of like, what was the book by Tom Peters back in the day? Committed to Excellence, something to excellence.
Yep.
And kind of launched this huge customer service sort of focus, which somehow we've lost complete track of. But is it a return to that, or what's the target there?
Yeah, somewhat. When I started this endeavor several years ago with Lead with Hospitality. I wanted to pick up where guys like Tom Peters and guys like Danny Meyer, who wrote the book Setting the Table, the transformative power of hospitality in business. I wanted to sort of pick up where they left off. So I believe this. I believe when leaders lead with hospitality, they have teams and they have cultures of people that are out there on the front lines that are delivering memorable hospitality. And it is rooted in how we make people feel. So that's really what started me off on this path with, I was really curious with how could I sort of connect these two things, leadership and hospitality. And in all my research last time around, and pretty much every day since, what I found is that you and I as human beings and all these people on our teams and all these people that like we're serving, like you're serving an audience of people. You have customers and guests and clients yourself with your show and your different products that you have. Everybody watching, everybody listening, whatever business you're in, you have guests, customers, and clients. And so here's what I found is that we love our favorite leaders for some of the same reasons. We love our favorite hospitality destinations or the favorite places we like to continue to go back to. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's rooted in how they make you feel. So it's really rooted in this foundational science-backed, research-backed concept that when we make people feel welcome, comfortable, and important as a leader, then that's going to enable teams of people and it's going to draw them in and really have them open up so that they will sort of accept and receive our coaching and inspiration more so than they would have if we did not make them feel welcome, comfortable, and important first. And the same goes, as we all know, from our favorite hospitality destinations. Like I would be willing to guess. I mean, I live in Las Vegas, so I'd be willing to bet that you have some favorite hotels or hotel resort brands or restaurants. You have a favorite bar. You have a favorite airline. You probably go back to that same brand because of how they make you feel. It's the same concept.
It's the Bellagio. So I lived in Vegas for 20 years like you. I don't know if you lived there for 20 years, but I know you live there. The Bellagio is a place, people always come, when they visit, they're like, hey, can you take us to the best place in the hotels? So I always take them to Bellagio. There's kind of romanticism there, but I mean, the Bellagio is just a beautiful property. And of course people love the chocolate fountain and the gardens and, it's kind of and then the Italian sort of styling and artwork that's in it. It's just great. But yeah, you're right. You talk a lot about how things make us feel or how the experience of customer service feel. And it sounds like feelings are a lot of a part of this because people, what is that old line? People remember how they make you feel.
Yeah, Maya Angelou quote. They won't remember what you said. They won't remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Sounds like my first 10 divorces. I still hear about it to this day. So, Bob Iger, I think I've always kind of respected him as a CEO from everything I've seen and done. I read his books. I think he's a great leader. I know there was some stuff at Disney. There was some powerful things that they had that empowered the frontline employees that, something about doing whatever it takes to make guests happy or but they would have the power to do that, and that was kind of a great thing that kind of Disney I think touted as. Do you know the thing I'm talking about?
Yeah, for me, and that's what a lot of my stuff is basically picture the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas and Disney had a kid, and that's pretty much me. That's all I write about and speak about, and I've just drawn and I've sort of compiled the things that I found work and that don't work as it relates to leading and inspiring people and or delivering or not delivering these memorable moments. But yeah, Disney for me, it's less about, and I had I had a former leader of mine that would say there's no silver bullets. Like there's not one thing, but instead it's about doing a bunch of little things consistently. And that for me has always been what I believe makes Disney Disney. It's a bunch of little things that they do, but probably one of the most important was for me, and remember, I was an hourly cast member at multiple different locations with different roles in the show. I was
really?
like a frontline leader, like what they call a guest service manager, with that first level of leadership at multiple different locations, multiple different lines of business. Then had the opportunity to be a leader of leaders role, sort of like working my way up through. But one thing I always share with people about Disney is you didn't have a job. You had a role in the show. The whole thing at Parks and Resorts, anyway, is a show. And so you really would go to work every day, not to flip burgers, not to make beds and clean toilets as a housekeeping person or housekeeping man. No, you would go to work every day, like believing like you were going to make magic for people.
Wow.
You had a role in the show. And so that, I think, is what you're getting at and what you're talking about. That when you can make people feel, once again, that feeling on the inside, you're going to get a whole different version of that person as a cast member, as a leader somewhere out there on stage in your business.
I imagine, if you had a mindset where you woke up every day, maybe we should do that around the house here, around the office and studio, where I'm like, we're going to create magic today, folks. And then
Sure.
I'm going to have to learn some card tricks. But yeah, I mean, having that mentality, we're going to create some magic maybe for employees. If you're a CEO or a leader, how do we make people appreciate the job? If you took it from that aspect, that's a whole different sort of thing. It's interesting, the ecosystem you kind of talk about of I mean, magic kind of does surround, the allure of, or the lore of Disney. It's fairy tales, it's storytelling and everything that goes into it. When you went to Cosmo, I mean, Cosmopolitan, I mean, I've met so many people hanging out at the Chandelier Bar. They did a lot of great outreach to influencers when they first came online. I think they still do pretty much. Lots of customer service and I just always hear people talking great about the Cosmo.
Yeah, that experience for me, I was there for 4 years. I was there for the pre-opening in November of 2010, believe it or not. Can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
Which was really special. And if you remember back to that time, kind of like what we've all just been living through. Those of us in the hospitality industry, been a rough road here. COVID and
COVID.
Back. Well, back then we were coming out of the
crash, 2008 crash.
Yeah, 2008, 2009, brutal. I lost my job a couple times. There were many of us that did. And I had moved away from Las Vegas, went down to South Florida. And then 18 months to the day, I came running back when the Cosmopolitan opportunity presented itself. But so it was a really interesting time. And what I loved many things about it. But one of the things I loved most was from the get-go, like our leaders there, like John Unwin and all of the leadership team, they made it very clear to all of us. They said, look, we don't want to be bigger or better than the Bellagio or Aria or Wynn. We want to be different. It was never about being better. It was about, we wanted to show up in a way, and we wanted to create a place that was not just different, but different that matters to people. And so it was this whole new realm of like what I believe, like we would say, man, we're out here to change the game. And if you look back 15 years, look what's happened since. Like, we were the first property there. John Unwin was courageous enough to say, we don't want to just reward people in terms of loyalty marketing. That was my gig. I was the director of the loyalty marketing program. He's like, we don't want to just give you points for gambling, playing table games or slots. No. We're going to change the game. We're going to reward people for their spend on the resort side as well, and food and beverage and going to shows. And that became this new thing. Well, now everybody out here does that. So it's not only that sort of thing structurally and infrastructure, how we set up the business part of it, but it really was for those of us, we were called co-stars, for example.
Oh, really? That was your titles?
Yeah, not employees, not cast members, co-stars. Why? Because the building itself, like the gym that was and still is the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas and all of her beauty, again, different. not this vast, like widespread property, but no, we sat on 8 acres and it went vertically, as we all know. Restaurant goes, second floor, third floor, pool on the 4th floor. So the building was the star. The guests were the star, and we were the co-stars, co-creating this experience. It was to your point, it was a whole mindset. When we were encouraged to be ourselves and to bring our authenticity. And that was another way I saw firsthand, and I saw the power of giving that kind of empowerment to the team, to the people. Little things too, like we didn't have name tags when we opened.
Oh, really?
Because we wanted to just have an excuse to say, hi, my name is Taylor and you are, just to open up that interaction. So it was less about doing transactions, and it was all about encouraging all of us to lean into having interactions, conversations, we would say. Conversations make good company. I used to love it, man. We had all these mantras and taglines, and to this day, even though MGM has taken over running the hotel there and it's run by MGM Resorts, but there's still an element that it's different than the other MGM properties.
There you go. Well, it's something else. Now, generosity is a big word that you use, especially in the title of the book. When we live, work, and love from a place of generosity, how important is that? What does generosity mean to you, I guess?
Yeah, it's about just doing things for other people without expectation for anything in return. And we talked a little bit about mindset, and that's really what this becomes. And it's just this opportunity that is available to all of us, no matter what stage of life we're in, no matter how old we are, no matter how long we've been out here doing what we've been doing. And no matter if you're in a season right now where things are rocking and rolling and you're sitting high on the hog, or if you're a person that has had a setback, having a mindset and almost a heart set and an approach to life and work from a place of generosity can change everything. It can change. It can change these interactions. It can open up different conversations and allow for more connection with your boss, with the people that work on your team if you're a leader, with your customer base, with your guests that come in, your partners across the aisle, so to speak. Changes everything. So this, and especially in light of, and so I started writing this particular book not long after our last book came out. So it was in the middle of the pandemic, and like all the stuff was going on. George Floyd, all this division and the political mess and the socioeconomic, and it's still out there today. And so I saw this as an opportunity to this may be a chance. And it might not work. But I said, you know what? I want to try to do this as a way that whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, whether you're a white person or a black person, Latina, Latino, Asian American, Pacific Islander, Hawaiian person, Indian person, gay, straight, trans, if we can challenge ourselves to just focus on other people and to give first. And that's one of the things I love about leadership is leaders, there's a Simon Sinek quote that I'm sure many people that are listening or watching have probably seen him or heard him say, is they call them leaders because they go first. Well, I believe great leaders give first. Give your time, give your talent, give your heart to other people. And so what I've done is just in light of all this work that I've been doing with, so I go back to Cornell like every 3 or 4 months, and I give back to the school, to the the hotel that is at Cornell University called the Statler Hotel. And I gave them, I gifted to them in 2021 all of the leadership development content that I've created from our platform, Lead with Hospitality. I just gave it to them. I call them and I'm like, I don't have millions of dollars like a lot of these other Cornell people, but I have good content. And I got a passion for this stuff. So I gifted it to the Statler Hotel. They implement it and they've been using it ever since. So I've been working with students. I've been working with leaders, not only at Cornell, but at major like airlines and hotel brands like Montage Resorts, Choice Hotels, Highgate Hotels, restaurant companies. And what I've noticed and what I've seen, and probably people watching, listening, and you might have seen this as well, is there's there's a lot of these up and comers that they missed a lot of this development. They missed this season during COVID, where some of the simple things about how to engage and how to really connect on a human level, they had to do it through a screen if they did it at all.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've tried to have a story here with Give Hospitality, this leadership fable, that tells the story of Summer Grace goes to work at Calvilla Resorts. And I chose a G word, an I word, a V word, and an E word that I believe can help all of us bring to life these, what I point out in the book are the 5 core values, for example, that Calvilla Resorts has, that they have, that they've used to make themselves successful and to become like a famous workplace culture. And it's give compassion, give encouragement, give kindness, give hospitality, and give leadership. And there's a G word, I word, V word, and an E word with each of those that I believe can help all of us bring each of those values and virtues to life.
There you go. Well, I love it. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out to pick up the book, any .coms where they can find out more. Do you do consulting and coaching, things like that?
Absolutely. Come to leadwithhospitality.com. When you get there, you'll have all of our stuff there. I've got the books are on there. And then we also do, and it's available, by the way, pre-order, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever books are sold. The release date is July 8th, but you can pre-order it now. And then, I do keynote speeches, keynote experiences. I have a small team of like 10 to 12 of us, and we do leadership development, what we call live learning experiences for leaders on every level of organizations. We can customize it and cater it to specific brands, messages, and values of the company. We also do frontline guest service and customer experience training. So all of that stuff is on our website as well.
There you go. Lots of fun and energy to bring into the work environment there. Make magic every day. Man, that's what my motto should be on the Chris Voss Show. Make some magic. Magic.
Can't go wrong.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Taylor. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Order the book where fine books are sold. Give Hospitality, a hopeful story of what happens when we live, work, and love from a place of generosity. What a great paradigm to take your paradigm shift from. Out July 8th, 2025. For my audience, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you